to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation. I hope you can hear me well. Sound check for people who's coming into the building. Anybody who's coming into the building, we want to do a little sound check. We're just gonna step in for a little while, man, and just talk about some problems, man. Tough game last night. So tough that I was really, really disappointed by the performance that we put out on yesterday. Really disappointed at the performance that we put out on yesterday. I had yeah, man, what's going on, man? I was very, very disappointed at the performance that we put on yesterday, and it's very, very, very crazy that the day before I did a show for people who've been following me and was into my live. I did a show the day before saying, "Can we handle success?" And in some aspects, we look like we can't handle success. And in some aspects, we look like we start running off at the mouth sometimes and start talking like we have arrived. Some people call it confidence. I don't call when you start talking out your head. I don't call that confidence. Confidence is how you play. It's not about how you talk. Confidence is how you play, not by what you say out your mouth. And I say that because I don't like the statements that Dak made before the game, because he was baited into saying something that I don't think that should have been said. I know some people say, well, you want our quarterback to be confident. No. I want our quarterback to be focused, and I want his play to speak for himself. And I'm not saying he played bad, but I want him to lead the team to say, let our play lead us. Not what we say. And sometimes the more when we talk about this show is about what's our problems. I got two main problems. And I'm probably gonna find more, but it's two that I'm gonna focus on today. One of them, nobody's still not talking about it. And it's the biggest problem that we have had all year long. And it's 1A and 1B. And that problem that I'm about to talk about with this team even was there when we were winning 3 games in a row. That problem that I'm about to talk about is the reason why those 3 games, even with our offense and how we played, were not blowouts, big time blowouts. These problems I'm about to talk about can't be fixed during the season. And there are big time problems, and nobody's talking about a couple of them because everybody want to talk about other things that really is not a problem. But there are two things that's a big problem to this team. Well, three things. One is 1A, 1B. So let's get right to it. I've been saying for weeks, probably all the way back to the beginning of this season, and I spoke even louder about it after I came back from the Green Bay game when I went to Dallas to watch the Green Bay game. And we have a problem with physicality, not because of the offensive line, not because of the defensive line, but we are not a physical football team defensively. And let me tell you something. I don't care what 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 league you in. I don't care if it's Pop Warner. I don't care if it's the Ivy League college. I don't care if it's the SEC. I don't care if it's the ACC. I don't care if it's your rec league team that's a tackle football team. I don't care if it's your high school league team. I don't care if it's your middle school football team. I don't care whatever, if it's tackle football. If you don't have a physical defense, there is no such thing as a finesse defense. I've heard finesse offenses, but there's nowhere in nobody talks about nobody that would say you can win with a finesse defense. And the back end of our defense and where your physicality of your defense as a whole and the physicality of your back end starts with your safeties. I've said this in time and time again. A lot of people look at me and they say, "Well, coach, you just harping about this," but they can't show me film. Well, I probably didn't show them film where our safeties play is, if we compared it to other teams that got good defenses, that they can tell me saying, "Well, they look just alike." No, they don't. I said something on the live yesterday when I got off the live on the watch party with Boss Cowboy Sports. I said we got the worst safeties in football. Worst group of safeties in football. And I think somebody thought I was joking when I said that. No, I was dead serious. And this is no trying to shoot down Donovan Wilson or Malik Hooker, but they're done. They've been done. And I'm gonna tell you, and I said this weeks ago. Nobody listened to me, but the football person in me, the Cowboy fan in me, trying to keep looking over it and saying, "Okay, we winning," because I'm a true blue Cowboy fan. But the football coach in me and the person that knows football, no, we couldn't get around that. We still can't get around that with these next four games. It's gonna rear its head again. We can't get around that. And I hate to jump on players, but if you watched, I'm just gonna go back to the last two games. If you watched, and if you put the tape on Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, and you watch them totally, you see what I say is guys that that's what we call power watchers. Donovan Wilson, I've said this and said this over and over again. He still has the mindset to be a striker, but he got no feet no more, people. He don't have no speed, people. And then when he does make contact, he you could look at him. His body can't take the physical attributes no more. When you watch Malik Hooker, he's slow, people. This might be because he got a foot injury or whatever. He's slow, and he can't go out there and bang anymore. Wanye Thomas turned out to be, I don't know, something might be seriously going on with him. And number 14, he played linebacker a whole year. He's a small version, maybe faster than some linebackers, but at safety, he's slow. In the history of the Cowboys, every time we have had a good defense, we have had Hall of Fame. Yeah, I say 14 because I don't. Marquise Bell, listen, man. In the history of the Cowboys, when we have had good defenses, we have had quality safeties. And let me go back to the Dan Quinn years. Dan Quinn had the best defense here when the first year, the first 2 years he was here in Dallas. When y'all say that, well, a lot of people won't say that, but yes, they were the best defenses that we had in Dallas for a long time. The Dan Quinn's first 2 years. The first year, he took a team that was last in defense and got them in the top, I think almost the top 10 in scoring defense with a bunch of rookies and guys on their first year starting. But tell me if y'all remember, didn't Curse and Donovan Wilson have their best years at safety that year? It got Curse another contract. Do y'all remember that? How well Curse played that year? Do y'all remember how well Donovan Wilson played that year? That's what got him this contract. And we had just brought Malik Hooker in, coming off of being in Indianapolis, and he played his best football then. Do y'all remember that? And from that point on, the safety play has fell off ever since then. We ain't had good safety play since they got that contract. We hadn't had great safety play since then. And our defenses have gotten worse and worse. And I'm gonna tell you, it's directly related to that. Last night, I don't try to get confrontation because I understand what people were talking about with Diggs. And last night, everybody kept saying, even the people was calling in, and probably some of y'all on that's watching me now, gonna say, "Man, we would have been better off with Diggs out there." And let me tell you something about Diggs. If Diggs is healthy, which it, it's a possibility he's not as healthy as everybody think he is, but Diggs' skill set that Diggs brings to the table, his superpowers that he brings to the table, wouldn't have helped us last night. Oh, now I'm going to upset a lot of people. Diggs' superpowers would have not helped us last night. Because they did attack us down the field. This is the second or third game that a quarterback has completed over 85% of his passes where the ball don't travel no more 7, 8 yards, maybe 10 yards at the most in the air. Yeah, we need. Thank you, darling. We need to get the we want to get those lights up. Let me put the overlay out here so people gonna know. Uh, Again, Diggs' skill set. Let me say that again, because I don't think a lot of people want to talk about this. Diggs' skill set that he brings to the table is cover and getting turnovers. The game plan for Detroit was not to put the ball in harm's way for defensive backs to make a pickoff. They were going to run comebacks, short routes, underneath routes, which Diggs is not. That's not his forte. And they were going to tell your corners and your defensive backs that they need to be physical. That's not his forte. That's not it. That's not it. That's not his superpowers. And I don't think why we don't see that. We want to talk about, and I hate this, man. We talk about with zone. When you're throwing the ball, and I don't care what somebody say what they did. I know what I'm talking about. When you're playing whatever, and guys, when they're dedicated to say, we're going to throw the ball 2 yards, how many screen passes they threw? Y'all watch the game. Tell me how many screen passes they threw. Hell, they try to throw one to the damn lineman. It's the same game plan that Green Bay did. Green Bay threw 100 sideline screens. They put the running backs out there, threw the ball out there. They put the receivers out there. What did Detroit do? They put their running backs out there, throw the ball outside. Screen passes. Why? Because two issues with this team is glaring. One, we have a non-physical defense that decides that they don't even want to get off of blocks on the back end. And two, we are so slow in the back end. We have no speed in the back end. No speed. Our two safeties, the three rotation safeties we got are slow as molasses going uphill in the wintertime. Our cornerbacks, Revel and all that, they're not known for blazing speed. Our back end is slow. When we watch, when we in the games, y'all said, "Oh man," I remember we saying, "Man, look at how we rallying around the ball." Most of that's defensive linemen. But know why nobody want to talk about safety? Because people devalue safety like they devalue running backs. When people talk about the secondary, the first thing they talk about is cornerbacks. But I'm telling you who's the most important people in the secondary. I can tell you safeties can make corners look better. Give me two outstanding, aggressive, very high IQ, ready to come through those lanes safeties, and I don't have the cornerbacks. Ain't got to be no knockout blows. Only thing they got to do is be able to hold their own and be very hard in setting the edge and not backing up off the edge. I know people want to talk about the Deion Sanders thing because that would know somebody say, for one, we can't compare none of these corners to Deion Sanders because they're not as good as he is by far. But two, Deion Sanders was best when you matched him up with what? Hell of a safeties. He had hell of a safeties in San Francisco. He had hell of a safeties in Dallas. When he went to the Baltimore Ravens, he had hell of a safeties then. Because then the safeties allowed him to do his thing, covering man to man. And when you try to attack him on that side of the ball, only thing Deion did was make sure he came up in force, and the safety was going to clean it up. They weren't going to be sitting back waiting. Check out Church. Look at, and he had hell of a safeties in San Francisco. Yeah. What's the long neck guy they had in San Francisco? He had great safety tip. You put great, and guess what? That allowed corners to do their job and be free. They put great safeties back. Charles Woodson goes to Green Bay, starts playing safety, turns a lowly defense into a number one defense that wins the Super Bowl. But nobody talks about the safety play. We got people that doing film and telling people about coverage. And I'm not saying they wrong about coverage, but they're not telling us about the aggressive when we got runs up the middle. When we got runs and I don't even see nobody. I said I wasn't gonna get upset. I'm like, let me calm back down. The run that the running back had for 30 yards, the cornerback comes in there, Revel comes in and misses the tackle. And we don't have a safety. This guy gets stumbled in the hole in the middle of the god doggone field. And we don't have a safety in sight. And we start talking about evil flus, and we be talking about the evil flu zones, and we talk about the you know, we playing this and that we need to get this guy that digs and all that. And I'm saying football guys are football guys cannot look at this and say, man, come on, man, you can't win with that. And let me tell you something. I done heard out the locker room when they talk about guys turning down tackles in that back end. If somebody been following me long time when we started this season, I told him, I said this about Mac Eagle Fluke defense when he said attack style defense. And I don't know if y'all remember this. Let me refresh what I said. From day one, even preseason, I said, if this is an attack style defense where you have the defensive lineman getting upfield and attacking, if your back end is not aggressive and see it and go get it, that ain't gonna work. Because you're attacking the front end to make sure to cause disruption with your defensive linemen, and you need the linebackers and the back end to see it, read it, and go get it. Swarm. But if they see it and they stand back and wait for guys to block them, it's going to cause a gap between what we call the gap of Gibraltar. When you're coaching defense, you never want your team, the lines of defense, to be a big gap. You want to stay the continuity. Defense line, 2 to 3 yards, here come your linebackers. 2 to 3 yards, here comes your secondary. And as we move like the hand, we move just like that, like a unit. But when you got an attack style defensive line, they getting up the field, your linebackers still standing. Your safeties back there, they still 10 yards off the ball. You get past the defensive lineman, everybody, do y'all see this in our game? It never looks like we are rallying around the ball. You know why it doesn't look like we rallying around the ball? Because we got a bunch of guys that's sitting around waiting on somebody else to make the tackle. And then when we come to make the tackle, we don't come with bad intentions. I'm watching the guys get juked. Man, Donovan Wilson getting juked, Revel getting juked, Bland getting juked, and your linebacker Murray getting juked. But this is the sad thing, people. They're getting juked, but there's no rally from nobody else coming. The cavalry is never coming. I'm not telling you nothing crazy. Y'all look at that. That's why I tell you, go look at other teams. Go watch the Seattle defense. Go watch the San Francisco defense, who got a bunch of rookies. Go watch those type of defenses and tell me, do you see the back end aggressiveness that you see from our team? And then you tell me about some scheme and all that. Man, let me tell you something, man. If you ain't got aggressiveness, ain't no damn scheme gonna work. And I'm watching it every week, and we got people that's looking at it and act like they don't see it. We got Elam out of there. But let me tell you what happened when Elam was in there for so long. Let me tell you let's go back. I need to repost my videos that I said after the game at Green Bay. And I said after the Green Bay game, by having my own eyes in Dallas and watched us lose that game because of the back end, just turn the tackles down. I said we need to start investigating and putting emphasis on our back end being more aggressive. And I said this before. I said that in my last show when I showed you, when I said there's a cancer is spreaded in that back end. When you allow a guy like Elam, when you allow what I saw in the Green Bay game from your top guys, and you allow it, and then we act like we don't see it. I told you then that you're developing a cancer that you're not going to be able to stop. Because once it does that for so long, you ain't going to stop it. Because that's going to how people think that they play to get playing time. You let Elam stay there for 5 or 6 weeks. And now, nobody attacking nothing. And I said this, it's interesting you church you brought about Diggs and Parsons. And I know I'm gonna get flack about this statement I'm about to make here. Both of them are immature football players. Reason why I say that is because it's more than just sacking the quarterback, and it's more than just getting interceptions. Those things, yeah, they do great. But I need to be Hall of Famers. You got to do more than that. I need a guy like Michael Park, if he playing for Green Bay, whoever he playing for, to get 100 tackles in a season, to get disruption every play, not just getting sacks, tackles. I need a cornerback that's going to be physical, that you're not going to sit there and throw the ball underneath or say we're going to throw the ball on his side and he turn down tackles. And if he can't get interceptions, he's not giving me anything. No. And that's not talking bad about Diggs, because I understand he can do better. And I'm not accepting, oh, well, he's a playmaker. He go out, he make it. No. Because if I wouldn't accept it from one of these other young guys, I'm not going to accept it from a guy that I know got a hell of a talent, that could be a hell of a player and could be a well-rounded cornerback. But they'll take that as being hating. But let me tell you something. All the rest of the GMs in this league and coaches in this league are saying the exact same thing. Because when it comes down to signing, they ain't worried about if you can get interception. Let me tell you something. Elam wasn't no bad cornerback in covering. You know why Elam got traded to the Cowboys? Because they seen what we saw. That he's not willing to do nothing else but cover. And that's why he signed with anybody else since? Because the bottom line, baby, we could talk about all this stuff, but it comes down to playing football the right way. Two problems, man. No speed on the back end, and listen, man, they keep showing that play over and over again with explosive plays. I did a show about explosive plays. I said explosive plays happen for 3 reasons. Maybe 4 reasons, 3 reasons, 3 main reasons. Alignment or assignment. Was our defense in the right alignment, or did we do our assignments? If we don't do our assignments or we don't do alignment, sometimes we can give up a lot of explosive plays. I said the second thing is we ain't physical enough. Broken tackles. Most defenses give up big plays because they give up broken tackles. When you're giving up a lot of big plays, your alignment or your assignment. Somebody blows their assignment, or somebody is nowhere close to being lined up they're supposed to be. Or the next thing is we ain't physical enough. They're breaking tackles. It's either not physical enough or you don't have enough effort. And the third thing is you ain't got the athletes. You could be in the right spot. You could be lined up. You could do your job, but you just can't athletically. You can't keep up. It's either one of those three things, people. Is why you give up a lot of big plays. And I can't tell you that we did lined up right because that's not my defense. And none of y'all can tell that either because it's not y'all defense. But what we can judge is the effort and the physicality because we can look at that. And we can judge about the athletes because you can look when you got guys running from all the way to a long run and your safeties are not even in the god doggone picture. And they already 15 yards off the ball from the start with. What that tells you. Don't tell me about they got blocked. But nobody talks about it. Everybody acts like our back end physicality is not in question. And each team is showing you game plans that they're attacking us not because of no type of route running, no routing us up. They throwing basic ass plays at us to say you're not going to tackle. You ain't going to rally and you ain't going to tackle. Yesterday, they stayed away from the defensive line just because they knew because they couldn't handle. Quick pass game, throw it out there. When you got in the red zone, this is the blueprint. When you get our defense in the red zone, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you in man-to-man because we in the red zone. Check this out now. We in the red zone, and I'm just telling you how a coach attacked this. We get you in the red zone inside the 10-yard line. Most times you're going to go man. Now we're going to run sweeps at you to score. Why? Let me tell you why. Because now when you go man, is man on man blocking out there on the outside, and we think our receivers and tight ends are gonna block your guys because they ain't gonna try to get off the blocks. And go look at the film. Week in and week out, we don't never get off blocks. I ain't lying. It's right there. But we talk about everything else. Except the basic principles about football. Blocking and tackling. And you can't tell me we got effort. When I'm watching guys standing with their hands up here playing chicken fight with a guy backpedaling, and the guy ain't coming at him hard. When I'm watching a team that I never say, man, what a good hit. Y'all see it. And nobody acts like they don't see it. We come with all these other excuses. We talk about everything else. And yes, this is Matt Eberflus' fault. I've been trying to say, well, but no. Because when you say Matt Eberflus, when you tell us that your defense is going to be graded, how they tackle is by how they cornerbacks and your secondary tackle, and this is what you get, you're telling me that you had a core value that you didn't hold up to. And if you don't hold up to that core value with your team, then you can't be respected with nothing else you say. And you lost them because you didn't hold true to what you said you wanted. So don't tell us about if they buying in because you got up there and said, that's what I want. That's to be the measure of how we play. And you allow Elam, Diggs, uh, uh, all the rest of the cornerbacks back there, and your safeties to play as soft as they play. Don't tell me about the zone. Just soft individually. And then when you let them do this, you can't come back and say, oh, I want my team to buy in. They ain't gonna buy in because you preach a standard and you allow the standard, you gave up on your standard. So now, either you needed to stand tall day one and bring them out in the media. If you didn't like the way they tackle, you say, hey, we got to be strong out there. If you didn't like Elam while he tackled, Elam, Diggs, got to be strong in tackling. Let us help you. Malik Hooker, he got to be better at coming up and be more aggressive. Donovan Wilson got to be more aggressive. Let us help you. Because if you put it out there, Eagle Flus, we would have backed your butt up. They would have heard us. If they didn't hear you, they would have heard us. But you didn't do that. And that has been a detriment of, and it might not be you. It might be who you hired there. People, teams are not even throwing the ball down the field unless they're getting throwing a 9 pattern. They're not even running complex stuff where they hitting seam routes down the field. No. They hitting slants. And every once in a while they hit a deep slant. Why they keep it on the run? Because we slow. And they know we're not going to attack from the other side because ain't nobody attacking the football. And you think you're going to see this over and over again? That's the blueprint. And I've been telling you this has been the blueprint for weeks. Eagles couldn't get to it because A.J. Brown touting. And their offense just pitiful. Kansas City tried to get to it, but they sputtering. This team that we lost to last night is not good. This team, Detroit, probably may lose 3-4 more games this year. He took a basic game plan and said, we just gonna make them tackle. And then we helped them out against special teams. We could cover a kick. And what covering a kick is tackling in space. The exact same way we handle our back end in space, that's how our kickoff team is. Listen, that's the same guys. If your back end of your secondary is weak and soft, I can guarantee you your special team coverage is going to be weak and soft. And it looked the same. Nobody can't tell me that they can't watch film and say, damn, it don't look like we attacking the ball. Go through, if you want to watch film, go through this and say, how many people getting off blocks or are they just allowing people to block them? And if you start seeing that, don't give me nothing about these other stuff that's going on. That's a problem. If you see that, that's a problem. And Diggs' skill set was gonna help us. And listen. When Diggs was out there, we still getting the exact same game plan. Diggs was out there when we played Green Bay. It's the exact same game plan against Green Bay. Look at go watch the plays they ran. Watch the plays that they ran. Go watch the Detroit, the Green Bay game. You say, well, God dog, Coach Marv, it looks like they're identical. And they put up 40 points on us in Green Bay. I'm just saying, Diggs' skill set was not gonna help us. It might have helped us a little bit, but I said it and I'll say it again. Let's try to be a little bit more physical on the back end. Let's see how that works. It's time to let the clocks play. He's hurt too. But it's time to let the guy that the undrafted free agent we picked up to play safety. It's time to let them go. It's time to give me some younger, faster, and say go out and be physical guys in the secondary. I'd rather people start to say that we got to try to route them up and try to take a little bit more aggressive approach, and now we can let our defensive line work to get to the quarterback, then for people to say, I'm going to throw 100 damn screens. I'm going to throw 100 guy stop comeback routes because they scared they ain't going to tackle. I want them to say, bam, throw those, but we going to bust your heads. You going to feel us. You might get some yards, but at the end of the game, you going to feel us. Then, now people have to say, wait a minute, let's try to do something down the field because they killing us. They coming up like piranha. But we don't come up like piranha. We sitting and waiting. Because we got a bunch of guys that their body probably can't take the pounding no more. That they just glad to be in Dallas. That's true. People, this is not no rant and raving, man. It's on the film. It's on there. Nobody said they have took the time to say, dog, man, it don't look like we getting all blocks on the back end. God, where's the guy? Why are we not forcing this? Why is our safety still 10, 12 yards off the ball when the ball is snapped and they only move a yard? Why did they see in the play and our back end is not coming down? Why is our backside cornerback not feeling and making that tackle? Why is we not getting anything from our back end to come up and force plays and get tackles and be physical because get off these blocks? It's going to increase our defense. It's going to make those young guys up front we got up front work better. But everybody wants to talk about the linemen. Everybody wants to talk about some of the linebackers, but we forget about those guys because only thing we think that those guys back there gets interceptions. And let me tell you something about football. They're going to tackle more than they're going to get interceptions. And if you got guys that not going to make no play, it's sad. And I'm going to get on this tight end thing. I seen somebody put in the question about it. And I'm going to say this about it. To me, and they can say, if somebody can show me consistent film, not mistakes, consistent film that says Ferguson is not doing his job and Spann is doing his job. There's not enough targets for two tight ends to get multiple targets. Let me rephrase that again. When we start talking about this guy, that guy, and everybody getting targets and getting all these targets, you got two bona fide receivers, and you're going to throw the ball to your third wide receiver. You're going to throw the ball. There's not a room for guys to get a whole lot of targets. Now let me tell you what Span job is. Span job is to do what he's doing. That's his job. I don't care about him catching the football. I want him to just be a blocker. See, this is how we ruin guys. We start saying we want them to do what we like them to do. But what he's doing is what's important to this team. And Ferguson's catching enough god doggone balls all kind of ways to do great for the tight end catching. Listen, guy fight for some yards, he fumbled the ball, guy punched the ball out. That's a great play by them. I look at the guy and say, man, he fumbled. And listen, I'm not saying it's bad. Yeah, he done fumbled. And he trying to do too much. But his blocking has gotten better. And he's making some great, tough catches. But we got this stigmatism, man, we done and killed it. And all this stuff about, listen, just make some catches. All this athletic stuff, he making catches. You got two great wide receivers, man. There ain't no what we doing, man. In that game last night, he did a hell of a job. He had some hiccups. Well, duh. Dak had some. But we could talk about that. But what we need to be talking about is those safeties back there with no effort, not filling the holes. That this been going on for weeks, and we watching guys can't get off blocks for weeks. And we watching teams throw underneath because they know they ain't gonna. And ain't nobody saying nothing about that. And that's evident. Teams are showing you that's their attack. They ain't being afraid about it either. They said we ain't got enough time to go throw the ball down the field, throw the ball down the field. Y'all understand we talking about, yeah, he fumbling too much, but let's talk about the plays he made. If you can't tell me about all the plays he made, then we talk about it. What we talking about, man? Yes, he's got to get over that. That's turn the ball over. He's got to be more conscious of that. But we got this feel out of the complex. We got on the guys that listen, compared to the year he had last year, he has had a hell of a year based off the year he had last year. People say he need to have a better year this year. He has had a hell of a year. And he's blocking better. And we had we don't see that. We the only people. Well, I put it like this: put him out there, let him go, let him go. See what happens. But what we need to be talking about is how guys ain't done nothing for you all year. And we ain't had that subject conversation yet either. Other point, this George Pickens thing. Pickens didn't have a good game. Now, am I going to revert back to say, oh man, this is old Pickens? Nah, man, no. I'm going to convert to say, man, it was a rough sledding for him. They're not going to let you catch the slant pass of Pickens. And they're going to listen. Detroit said, hey, man, every team ain't going to just let you just catch that one play. And then some other stuff going on. Some of those things, Dak should ain't thrown it because he should have saw the guy and you should have protected Dak by doing that. Yes, coming off the ball. Yes, your effort to going and getting certain things was it should have been needed. Yes, I understand that. Yes, he might have had a bad game. But let me tell you something, Pickens. Going back and forth with other people out there in the media, trying to go back and forth and trying to prove that, just get back and play another game. That's what you do. Find out what they're doing, get better, come out and redeem yourself the next game. All this going back and forth with all the people in the media because you trying to be hard and say, "Oh, I ain't gonna let nobody disrespect me." Show them on the field, baby, because that's what you're gonna get paid for. You're not gonna get paid for by what you say. And here again, I say it. I have never seen a guy show me confidence by talking. You ain't never proved that by talking. Just go out there and play, man. Because they're going to say what they're going to say anyway. You just go out there and play. And you'll be all right. But going back and forth, you make yourself look bad. Because then you're going to say something to keep the flames going. You know you didn't have a good game. So talking back about it is saying you don't acknowledge that you had a bad game. That's the lay of the land, baby. Because when you have a good game, which it might not have been all that, and people start giving you all this praise, over the top praise, and I'm not saying it's over the top, but sometimes they went way overboard. You didn't say stop. You said keep on. You didn't say nothing. Just go do what you can do, brother. I got faith in you. We got faith in you. It wasn't a good game. It happens. Get your mind back on your work. Last issue. This immaturity as a football team. I'm getting sick of this, tired of this. This is what I'm getting sick of, tired of us not being able to handle success, us not being able to consistently lock in and not have these type of games and then start going back and forth with people. We lost this game because we didn't come out to be a physical football team in all areas. And we came out thinking that this was a cakewalk because we had won 3 games and they coming off theirs hurt. Now we're gonna roll into Motown to be that guys. And some of our fans hurt too. Because we hurt because we thought we were gonna roll over them. And we lost. Now we feel like now the world done fell down. Humbleness, being humble is something that we really need in Dallas. Hungry, but humble. Let's get that attitude, people. There's a little thing on that. Hey, there's an algorithm on there. I don't know. Somebody tell me they tell me that there's a button when you on live that you can hit and it's the smash button or something on YouTube that will put If you hit that live button, it'll put you in a it boosts your algorithms and people that watching your shows. Hey man, if y'all out there, y'all see that, please hit that algorithm. I might have missed some of this. If you did some super chats, I've been trying to watch. I've been so in focus in this, I might have missed something. My cash app is down there, man. Some people have sent me, but listen here, if you're enjoying the show, we need support to try to upgrade some more stuff and to get to I can start doing some editing with to show y'all the film. Because if I could have done the editing part, coach trying to get to that technical part. I've been showing you these film about these defensive backs long before. I don't understand all these guys out here doing all this film work. They act like they don't see that. They act like they don't see the non-physicality of our back end. They act like it's all about the scheme and all that. And then they can watch other teams. This is what I know. This way, if you got a question about your defense, go to the best defense in the league or the best defense in the league and say, let me see what they're doing. I've been a coach. I've done that. A coach told me, say, listen, you could be coaching players and get locked into what you see. Have your other players watch other players, other teams, good teams, and have them watch their effort. Yeah. Because when you start watching other teams' effort, you be like, well, damn, they play in the zone and they throw the ball underneath. Look how they rallying to the ball. Go watch San Francisco. I'm not pulling that. Go watch their defense. A bunch of no names. But if you catch the ball, they like bees. They play hard and physical. They may not have no talent. They play hard and physical. I can't say that about all of us. I can say that about defensive line. But our back end, ain't nothing back there in that back end I seen that play hard and physical. Because there's a cancer back there. You don't have cancers back there all this whole time that have played soft and played without being aggressive. And I tell you, when you allow your top guys to be that way, you only ruining all the young guys under there. I done seen it, and it's happening right now. And sometimes you got to clear out the coach and the room. Yeah, you got to disinfect all that. Well, I mean, JB, what Ferguson gonna watch? What Ferguson didn't do well last night, other than fumble the ball. The penalty, he got a penalty blocking a all-world defensive end. And if you've seen the play, he stoned him with a right jab to the chest, and his hand went up into the face mask. But he was blocking Hutchinson. So excuse me if he's a little aggressive with Hutchinson, because tight ends don't supposed to block all pro defensive ends. And he did a pretty good job all night on blocking him. So I'm trying to figure out what he did. And he got what? 9, 10 catches with almost 100 yards? 89 catches? I know he had a lot of catches. And he had some very tough catches. And we talking about breaking tackles. How many tight ends in this league really breaking tackles? And if you're talking about a tight end breaking tackles from us, uh, I guess if he played against our secondary, yeah, damn right, he'd break tackles. I don't think y'all don't think Ferguson had a good year because we want a guy to break tackles and he got to break a whole lot of tackles, and sometimes it just ain't conducive for him to break tackles, and that's what we saying. And we watch his whole film. We watch his whole film. Let's watch his whole film. I wish I had the capability. And we watch the whole film. I'm gonna win that. I'm gonna win that. That we watch his whole film. I'm gonna win that because I done watched it. I done done that. I'm gonna win that. So we saying he didn't have a good game last night. Hey, maybe we got a perception on it, but like I said, let him go. And Spanford is good in the role that he does. That's not see. Spanford is just like when we watched. See, let's see how this happened. Let me put it like this: the young guy that we playing left tackle. He has a great game. He has a couple of flash plays, a great game, and then we start talking about, oh, he's gonna replace Guyton. Then he come out the next game, we like, whoa, well, hold up. When guys have a role, when you start trying to expand their role to do more things because we get a flash from them, we end up killing the player. Spanford's biggest asset is to catch a pass here and there, but to be the massive blocker that he is. Let him go. Let him go and see what somebody else do with him. If you don't like, let him go. And I bet you'll find NFL people that say, "Man, what are we talking about with Ferguson? We're talking about a tight end breaking tackles." And tell me some tight ends are breaking a whole lot of tackles. Show me some of those people. I want to see some of those people. Don't tell me the top echelons because I'm not saying he's the top echelon. And if we start comparing him, saying we want guys as being Travis Kelsey like or top echelon guys, then well we're trying to say every player that we want to be in the top tier. He doesn't have to be in the top tier. He has to be good for what you do, and we can't compare him to those people in those offices. But like we said, we want a guy to make big plays for what? You got two receivers. There is number one football. And what else? His blocking his blocking is very good last night. Blocking a all pro defensive end. He didn't have no drops. Because we think that drop in the with the end zone, that was we went back and looked at that ball was very high off his hands. Didn't have no drops, had some hell of a catches, hard catches, but nobody talks about that. So what else we want him to do? Had a multitude catches for first downs. What else do you want him to do? Schultz is, Schultz has you seen Schultz in Texas now? Check go look at Schultz in the Texas now. Before you say that, go look at Schultz in Texas with the Texas now. That 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 horse done sailed. Go look at Schultz in the Texas now, and then tell me what you see with. Tell me, matter of fact, just look at the Schultz stats with the Texas now, and tell me how that's going now. It ain't no eight touchdowns. Ain't no 8 9 touchdowns in Texas. Just go watch. Just go look at Schultz now, and then say, "Oh, let me see." And Schultz ain't nowhere close as good as Ferguson. No, the, Schultz could not. What Ferguson did with Hutchinson, Schultz could never do, and that's just point blank. Yeah, yeah, very he catch as long as you keep him his role to where it's at. When you start expanding people's roles, sometimes you will lose him. But I don't need him to catch. I got enough catches. I need him to be the blocker that he is. You never understood why Kansas City and San Francisco carry about 5 6 tight ends on their list. Why? Because they carry a lot of guys that because they need those guys to block. They need those guys to do the dirty work, and those dirty work guys is what makes their team go. And I like what Span is doing as a teamwork, doing with it. But we can't just see a glance of him and we start talking about guys should be in. The next thing somebody gonna be saying, well, Flournoy need to be the uh let's get rid of Pickens. That's coming up because we reactionary. But as you understand what guys do. You start understanding guys. Guys have pitch counts. I remember I used to talk to somebody. And they used to tell me about when you said a guy, why a guy's a second string guy. He's the second string guy because I knew he can't play no more than 10 plays. And he go out there. It was a guy that I had. He play. He go out there and get two. He get 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, and they be like, "Coach, why you ain't got him out there more? That guy could dominate. I know what he can play. After 10 to 15 plays, it's gonna fall off. And coaches know the pitch count on guys, but everybody on the outside think, "Oh man, he could do that." And then what happens is you get him out there, he get started, and after a while you be like, "Man, he ain't doing nothing." Because why? It's just like a part on your car. Some people say, "Man, that car is good. Don't overstress it. It's not built to go that way all the time. It give you a great performance right then all of a sudden you go out there and start trying to race people because oh man, it was fast the other day, and next what happened, boom, blew the part out. And people say, why you blew the part out? Because it wasn't built to go out there and race. So yes, Span Fords go there and Cowboys when they signed Ferguson, every time everybody think when they sign a guy to a contract that is a big contract. Ferguson contract is so is very team friendly, gives them a lot of wiggle room, and gives them a flexibility to keep a guy that's gonna catch between 65, 70 catches and probably 800, about 600, 700 yards and about about 8 touchdowns, which is pretty good, especially when you got this type of um and Bland and Bland. Listen, Bland might not be playing as good as y'all may want Bland to play, but I'm gonna say this: all your corners are getting hurt because your safety play is so horrible. And we talking about all that. We keep talking about Ferguson. We talking about Bland, and what we should have been talking about is our whole safety room is up worse in the NFL. But nobody want to talk about that. But I guarantee you, at this end of the season, watch people watch that become a subject of conversation. And when it becomes a subject of conversation, I want y'all to come back and say, Coach Marv said this. Watch that be a big subject of conversation of fixing next year. Watch what I tell you. And we're like, why they so is it? They may even do that in the free agent mark, or they going to go and draft the guy. But they gonna fix that because if they get another defensive coordinator, he gonna fix that. You get rid of Matt Eberflus. If you bring any other defensive coordinator, he gonna fix that right off the bat. Because when he watch film of your team, he gonna see the exact same thing I see, and he gonna say, "Hey man, we gotta improve the speed and the physicality of our back end. I'm not having that." And listen, when when Bland gets some catches on him, we act like when we get a guy get some catches on him that hey he garbage. Well, let me give you all cornerbacks get the ball caught on. He got some good plays in there. He got some bad plays in there. But when let's put it like this: when teams have a game plan for you to throw, Golf completed 85% of his passes less than 10 yards down the field. Jordan Love completed 28 out of 28 passes. The ball went under 6 yards. He only completed 3 passes where the ball went over 6 yards in the air. Jalen Hurts had a game in the first game of the season where he only completed 1 pass down the field in the whole game. When teams come in with an identity of saying we're going to throw short constantly, you gonna get some catches. Now you got to rally to make the tackle. But when I say this, when Bland got juked out there, when he couldn't make the tackle, did you see a rally? Did y'all see a lot of people coming? Go watch other teams, people, and then you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Go watch the better defense, and you'll see how it's supposed to be. And then you then come back and say, wow, I'm seeing these guys. And let's stop trying to put the expectations over top that guys shouldn't even get catches on them. If we want to say, and this is no dig, this is excuse me, pun it. This is no shot slander to Diggs. Diggs stole money because he got a contract. He been hurt 3 of the years he was here. That's stealing money. And when he was here, he didn't play that great. But we asked for him to get back. And he might not fly Eagle Flus. But I guarantee they're gonna fix that safety room. I guarantee you that's gonna happen. Because if anybody coming at me talking about any other player and you hadn't jumped on Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson play all this year and Marquise Bell at safety play all this year, then you not watching football. You watching for what people blot out there and say, oh, well, that guy. Because if you want to watch those. And it's not, and this is not this thing about rushing injured players back. That Diggs made that decision, and I understand why he made that decision. He trying to, hey man, I'm gonna say this again. Let's listen to this. Diggs is now on the final year of his contract. Diggs is on. He got 2 more years, but all the guaranteed money is over with his contract this year. What that says when all the guaranteed money is up. When all the guaranteed money on anybody contract, any football player, if all your guaranteed money is up on that year of contract, and they are not signing you to extension, you know that's your last year there. Because now your cap hit goes extremely high the next year, which Diggs' cap hit next year will be almost $20 million. And that $20 million will be unguaranteed money. So the Cowboys, when they didn't kick his contract down the road, they were telling you right then, and they were telling Diggs right then, that this is your last year in Dallas because we're not going to give you an extension. Why did they give Diggs an extension? Was it because they didn't feel it? They were trying to didn't feel in the didn't care about Diggs. They were trying to sully Diggs. No, because Diggs was coming off an injury with a surgery that is very rare in the NFL. It was not a ACL. It was a part where they had to do bone grafts and they had to get blood circulated. This was a different type of surgery. They didn't know how long this surgery or this how long the comeback of this with, and nobody knows how long that this guy will be able to continue to play with this type of injury. So they did sign him to no extension. Because why would you do that? And he's already been in the league, 7 years? He's already been injury prone for the 3 or the 4 years that you signed him for. So you won't sign him an extension. And then on top of that, they said he wasn't going to the trainer, and then they took $500,000 based off a clause in his contract. So you only owed him $9 million. And then you took $500,000 of that because some clause in the contract, which they could have let pass. And you did sign an extension. So Diggs, you don't think Diggs and his agent knows that he's not going to be in Dallas next year? So now some people saying, no, coach, he could be, if he went and balled out, they would have, okay, he's still under contract. No guaranteed money. His cap hit is almost $20 million next year. Okay, they could kick it down the road at the same contract and turn some of it in signing bonus and give him another $8 or $9 million, right? And he playing on a 1-year contract, and then he's gonna be right back in the same spot again next year. They're gonna have him locked up, but he's not gonna be making no big money, and he's gonna be right back in the same spot. Not an extension. They just kick the contract down the road so they can keep him locked up. Do you think Diggs want that? When you got a knee injury that you don't know how long it's gonna go, you trying to get a 2 or 3 year guaranteed contract so you can feed your family more than just 1 year. So you got to get on the field to show the other people you can play. You can't be sitting on the sideline saying, "Oh, when they let me go, then I'll be sitting here. Who gonna really trust me coming off this surgery and I haven't gotten out there to show them I can play?" This is common sense, people. Y'all acting like it's the Joneses coming. Diggs think about his future. The Joneses are think about, hey man, we not going to invest in the guy that we don't know how long he's gonna last. And Diggs needs to get on the field to get other teams involved. So when Diggs go out and get this film together and try to show people him working out, do you think he's doing that for the Cowboys? Hell no. He's doing that for the next team he about to sign with. And then when you go out there and you don't like some of the scheme they playing, All these people talking about what Diggs ain't say that, man. Listen, I already know. The man trying to get his stuff ready for his future, his team. So I want stuff to try to make me look good. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I blame the Cowboys for this. If you knew you ain't gonna bring Diggs back and you ain't gonna give him an extension, and you already had that in your head, you should have got rid of him before the season started. Don't play him around like that. Don't drag him around like that. You know you ain't gonna give him no money for no more years. Don't try to play this role against him. You already know. Just go ahead and get the divorce. That's like you. That's like a relationship ending, and we're gonna drag it out to next year, and we already know we're gonna get a divorce. Go ahead and get the divorce. And I'm not talking bad about Diggs, but that's the truth. These are true scenarios. And then there's some other things going on with Diggs. Anyway, but man, it's the truth, man. It's the truth, man. And listen, no Diggs is not wrong. The coaching staff ain't wrong. But when you got a guy, and then we don't know how well this knee is had. Diggs know. And I keep trying to tell people, man, this is the kid that his future is in front of him. He like, oh man, I ain't getting no more game. Now I gotta go and find me a job. And his knee may not be like it was before. So you can imagine what he's going through. Like, man, I don't want to go out there and look bad. I want to go out there and look good. I don't want to go out there and look bad because the Cowboys gonna let me go anyway, and I got trying to find a job someplace else. He almost to the point saying, let it ride. And people going what they just saw on my film. For him, if I was Diggs, excuse me, if I was Diggs, if I was Diggs, I'll stay out the rest of the season. If I was Diggs. Now I'm a Cowboy fan. I want him to play, but I want him to play at the top level. Not this top level coach. I want to be. He got to be physical. Because if we bring another non-physical guy in that back end, we're gonna be even worse. I'm just saying it's gonna get worse. If I was Diggs, I'll sit out the rest of the year. Now, let me tell you why. I never say nothing. I don't never give no opinion without having some type of reason why I said or something. You go out there and somebody beat you a couple of touchdown passes, or you not really trusting your knee, or you don't want to get physical, and people running your way, and you ain't getting no tackle. You turn tackles down, and you look bad somewhere. You'll stop falling with everybody else. You got okay film before you left. Not great, but okay. You can say I'm getting healthy. I'm gonna be totally healthy. I'm gonna look. I'm I'm gonna show you how I look when I go to my new team. And I think that's what's gonna happen. Now, is Diggs gonna do it the right way? If he make that decision, no. If he makes that decision, he gonna spin it that the Cowboys ain't playing me. Nah. And that might be the way you see to spin it. If I was Diggs, I'll try to spin it that way too. Because that's gonna make because he already knows it's gonna be a new team. And before the Cowboys cut him, they're gonna try to trade him. See, they didn't want Diggs to play so they can trade him. Come on, man. Y'all don't understand what is going on, man. I don't understand why y'all don't understand this game. The Cowboys just want him to come out there and do something good so they can play him, so they can trade him. They can't trade him now, but they want him to do something good because they're going to trade him in the offseason. Because they know he's not going to be happy with that little weeboo contract. And they're not going to get no extension. And he plays a little bit well in the offseason before they cut him, before they release him, they're going to try to trade him. Y'all don't see that? The Cowboys just want him to go out there so they can put him on the market. Now, somebody gonna take what I said and say, "Oh, Cowboys should trade these." No, I think it'd be better for Diggs. I think it'd be better for the both of the teams because Diggs get a chance. I hope he can go somewhere and get him like a 2-year contract. The big days of big money that's over with. But I hope he can get some solid money and then turn that money into being some solid money for years to come from. And I hope his leg holds up. We don't know. Nobody knows about that type of surgery. So that's why I hope. So that's not badgering Diggs. But if he does come back on this field, I need a physical corner. I need a complete corner like I know he could be. I need him to be all he could be. I ain't saying he got to be his guy that had that cover skills. He may not be that well, but I need all the other intangibles. I need him to bring more to the table and just get interceptions. Because evidently, teams are not going to play this role that's going to throw the ball for us to get interceptions. They're going to play this game for us to be played. Now, yes, he may end up in with the Patriots, but the days of the big money may be over with. But if I was Diggs, I wouldn't even go back out there. And he's gonna get a shot. But so let's here. If y'all push that super crazy button, that's great. But let me go back and recap for I'll let y'all go, man. Yeah, they want 30, but Church, you see what Church, let me ask you a question. You see my scenario, and that's what the scenario is. If I was Diggs, I said, hell no. They trying to play Diggs, man. They want Diggs to showcase himself, man, because they know they're gonna cut him and they're gonna try to trade him. And they can get a fourth or fifth, they'll be happy with that, as long as they get something. But they just not gonna just want to lease him and just not get nothing. They just audition him. That role has already sailed. They're not bringing him back next year. Now, is Diggs gonna fall for that banana in the tailpipe, which I know his agent ain't falling for that. Because they probably talking about, well, you play good. We make it talking about extension. And his owner, like, man, come on. Because if you go give him a extension, you would have gave it to him already. There ain't nothing he can do in these last 5 games to get an extension from you. He could get you to kick his contract down the road and you guarantee 1 more year. And then he like playing for a 1-year contract. He ain't gonna want that. Anyway, man, and nobody see it, but they act like they go. Well, listen, man, I, I love all the people that come in. It's amazing when we lose, how many people come in on your chats and how many people get in there and they be in your chats, man. How vultures we are when we lose, how we try to come out. Hopefully, y'all, I got a lot of subscribers. I'm 100, 240 subscribers away from being in my ultimate goal, my ultimate short term goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we can get to the point where we can do some other great things. My cash app is down in the bottom of the screen, dollar sign PBS 222. If you didn't like some of the stuff I said, if you disagree with some of the stuff, that's great, man. At least I know we listening and we communicating. And let's say, JB boy, I wasn't trying to go back at you, forth at you, man, about that, about the show thing, about the tight end thing. I appreciate, man, I appreciate your comments and your knowledge, man, to go to have those opinions, man. You are the epitome of what a Cowboy fan is. And that's a person that really concerns and keeps pushing for your team, man. And yes, I would hate to see Diggs if he goes to Commanders. But listen, if he does go there, you know, I, for Diggs' sake, I like Diggs, but for Diggs' sake, there's some other things that Diggs needs to get, that needs to get in line with his in his life, to that can be more detrimental than all this other stuff. And I hope he gets that stuff back in play. But like I said, man, listen here, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your church. I appreciate you, Coleman, Richard Coleman, all these people. My lady Ginger, uh, she's so supportive. I love her very dearly, man. Um, all these all these people, man, that was in there, wooed, all these people who come in here all the time. What's um my lady name? What's her name in here? She comes in. She always support me and come in here, man. Everybody who comes in here, I love y'all all, man. Y'all have all been so supportive and so supportive for me and being there for me. But we're gonna get this thing right. And remember, and I want to say this, and I'm not saying that the rest of the season is dead. We got to get to 10 victories. Now that means we got to win out, people. We got to get to 10 victories, but we got to build better habits. If we can get to 10 victories, I feel so much better if we building good habits that's going to take us forward. But we do have to realize our real problems. One of the things, and I'll say this in life. One of the things that you have to learn more in life is anything else. Um, if you learn this in life, learn yourself and learn what your real problems are. Learn what's the things that are what we call your struggles. When I used to coach football, we used to try to point out to players about learning what you struggle with. And if you know what you struggle with, you know what you need to work on. And if we know what you struggle with, we know how to protect those things so you don't look bad. Life is all about enhancing our strong points and safeguarding our weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. This team has weaknesses. We have to realize them, but we need to really focus in on the real issues and the real problems and stop falling for the things that really ain't problems that we hop on. I can't say what I tell you is going to change, going to win a championship, but I would tell you the odds are. But I enjoy y'all support. I enjoy y'all things, man. I enjoy the guys that I do the live screen with on the games. We may not have all the same opinions, but like I said last night, they're really football fans and they're really pushing for us to try to get six, and all us trying to push to get six. And I say this one thing about George Pickens. Pickens don't say nothing. Let your play work for you. And Matt Eagleflus or whoever the defensive coordinator, if something don't fit your scheme, you can't compromise yourself and let it go. Because when you compromise yourself, you probably done kill this whole defense. Until the next time, people, I'm gonna keep grinding. Steve Jones, I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep pushing. Enjoy your weekend, people. There's no Cowboy games this weekend. Let's go watch other football. Let's go watch other football and see, and then let's start looking at and let's kind of compare what we seeing from other teams and say, man, I wish we would have had that. And really, I want you to watch this on the defense, other teams on the defensive end, defensive side of football, and let's see the aggressiveness and see where we don't have that type of stuff and speed where we don't have. But until next time, man, thank you for your hour and 41 minutes of pure love between me and you. Cowboy fans, Cowboy team, Cowboy players. The game is over, but we still got 4 more games in this season. You're getting some rest like you should right now. But let me tell you, as I always say, oh, the cash app. Let me put that up so y'all can see that. Hey, listen here. We always can put that up there now. Hey, that's the cash app right there. I'm glad I caught that statement right there. That's the cash app right there, man. If you want to support the channel, but also this thing down the bottom right here, to do list, to do, like, subscribe, and enjoy. But let me go back to what I was saying. Cowboy players, Cowboy fans, Cowboy, the game is over. We lost the game. We had 4 games in 11 days, a tough stretch. We're tied. I know we're a tied football team. Playing that stretch and playing the last game on the road, that's very tough with the teams we've had to play. But we got 4 more games to get to. We got 4 more games to get to a 10-6 record. We got to build some good habits. But what I need for you to do, every player on this team, I need you to do something for me. Goes back to what I've always said. Get your mind on your work. Get your mind on your work. Get your rest. Get your mind on your work. Get away from those microphones and let's get on the field and let the football do our talking. Until next time, love you all. Thank you for supporting Coach Marv. Peace.